Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Mushtaq Chhapra, Dr. Tariq Mahmood, Sardar Yasin Malik, Shabir Diwan, Shabir Patka Sahab, my colleague Murtaza Wahab, Qasim Sungo, Chief Secretary Sindh, Secretary Health, the stalwarts sitting in front of me, the donors of Patient Aid Foundation, and of a lot of health facilities that have been built not only in the city but across Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'm really honored to be here on this signing ceremony between the Government of Sindh and the Patient Aid Foundation. And I'll talk a little about this agreement that we're going to sign today. This is actually formalizing an arrangement that we've had for several years now. And with this signing, I hope that our partnership with the Patient Aid Foundation will go even further. I, obviously being born in Karachi, having lived here, I know about Jinnah Hospital. Jinnah Hospital started off as a dispensary, and up till the time that the capital was in Karachi, Jinnah Hospital, there were expansions made in the hospital, it was built. Unfortunately, when the capital moved to Islamabad, the control of the hospital was with the federal government, and they did not invest as much as they should have. What I've been told, and I learned this when I went to Jinnah Hospital after becoming Chief Minister for the first time, was that since 70s, after the 70s, there were only two projects started at Jinnah Hospital. There was by the federal government at that time. A 450-bedded tower for JPMC was actually approved by ECNIC in 2007. 60 million rupees was the estimated cost. The groundbreaking was done by the then Prime Minister in 2007. But unfortunately, only 1.4 million rupees were released out of the 60 million that was promised. Then in 2009, another project for the first cyberknife facility in Pakistan was approved by the federal government in 2009. The total cost of the facility at that time was estimated at rupees 800 million, but only rupees 140,000 was released for this facility. So this is where we were. And in 2011, the 18th Amendment was signed by the then People's Party government. President Zardari at that time let go of all his powers, and a lot of institutions were devolved to the provinces. And along with other institutions, 3 medical facilities in Karachi, the Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center, the National Institute of Cardiovascular Disease, and the National Institute of Child Health. All 3 are sister organizations almost in the same place. They were devolved to the provinces in 2011. And at that time, I was the finance minister of the province, and Suhail Rajput is sitting in front of me here, the Chief Secretary, was Special Secretary Finance in charge for the non-development expenditure. We passed the budget on the 30th of June 2011, and on the 7th of July, I remember the 7th or 8th of July, Secretary Finance and Suhail, the Special Secretary, they came to me and said, we have to, I don't remember the exact amount I asked Suhail, he also didn't remember, but it was about 3 or 4 billion rupees at that time. That we have to come up with 3 or 4 billion rupees because these hospitals have been transferred to the provinces without any formal agreement or any formal handing over. But the federal government has deleted the expenditure from the federal budget for these institutions, and now we have to take care of them. So 7 days into the new year, new financial year, we had to come up with 3 or 4 billion rupees, but we did it at that time. But that was just the start. When these hospitals were transferred back to the province, and I can proudly say, not only Jinnah, the NICVD, the NICH, all these three institutions have been transformed completely. For Jinnah, we owe a lot to the Patient Aid Foundation. They were there before us, and I remember when I became the Chief Minister in 2016, a few months into my becoming the Chief Minister, I was invited to Jinnah Hospital. I was shown around. Taksa was there, Shabir was there, and they put me in a small room, and they showed me these presentations that you just saw. And I said, whatever you raise, I'll match it. I, meaning the government of Sindh, will match it. And I believe from that day onwards, this partnership strengthened even further. And we've been able to do what we've just seen, what you saw on the screen, which Mushtaq Saab has told you. From 1,100 beds to 2,208 beds in 10 years. We've had issues with the federal government. We've had several issues with the federal government, with the employees of these institutions, but we overcame all of them. For the last few years, we had problems when the federal government, who due to a Supreme Court judgment, I've said it many times, I don't care anymore. They can come and, put a contempt notice against me, a stupid decision that they made. Sent it back to the federal government, who were not really willing to take it back. The hospitals were transferred back to the federal government, and the federal government did not want to take them. They didn't have the money, and they didn't want to give it back to us also at the same time. So there was a lot of, sometimes people came up and they were saying they make a board of governors where the federal government will take this over, but you pay the money. I was told in a meeting by the federal government that we'll take over this institution, but you have to continue paying the money. So I showed them the highway. Very frankly, I said, if you want the hospitals, here is the key, come and take it over, we'll wash our hands away from it. From that day onwards, they didn't have the courage to do it. They did not have the will that the Sindh government had shown to transform these institutions. And we have done it. Talked about NICVD, we talked about JPMC. I won't repeat what Mushtaq Saab just told you. Just talk about NICVD. I don't know if Dr. Nadeem is here or not, or anybody from NICVD is here or not. But in 2022, NICVD has treated 2.23 million patients. And out of these, more than 10% have been from outside the province of Synd. They have done in 2022 19,888 primary PCIs. I don't know what that means. My heart till now is fine. So they've done 19,888 primary PCIs. And what I'm told is that the NICVD in Karachi does the highest number of primary angioplasties under one roof anywhere in the world. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. And it's all free of cost. We don't charge a single thing. They've done 86 intervention strokes, 3,641 cardiac surgeries just in 2022. If you go to NICH, we've transformed NICH in the last few years, in the last 7 or 8 years. We've partnered with Child Life Foundation for having pediatric emergency centers, not only in Karachi, there's several in Karachi, they're all over the province. And the objective was that a child should not be more than half an hour away from an emergency center so that we can save lives. And we've been able, by the grace of Almighty Allah, we've done that. NICVD, I've got to tell you, apart from the main hospital just next door to Jinnah, we've got 9 satellite centers in Hyderabad, in Tanumad Khan, in Ladkano, in Sakkar, in Khairpur, I've forgotten now, in Thaparkar, in Sevan. And these are, you can do all kinds of procedures there which we are able to do in Karachi. In addition, we've got 24 chest pain units, and NICVD must have saved, we Muslims believe that only Allah can take life away, but they're human beings, they're angels here on earth who help them, and these doctors as angels have saved many thousands of lives because of this. So, in the health sector, we have been able to talk about Gambat. I know some of you must be aware of Gambat. And if you haven't seen Gambat, you wouldn't even know, most of you won't even know what Gambat is. Gambat is a small town. It's about 50 kilometers south of Sakkar. Sakkar is the largest city near it. This small town has a hospital, which again started off as a dispensary in the 70s, late 70s, and it's turned into a full-fledged hospital, and we've done more than 700 liver transplants in Gambat. And they have also been free of cost, all of them. Not a single penny is charged. Apart from liver transplants, Gambat Hospital does kidney transplants, they do cochlear transplants, cornea transplants, bone marrow. They have a gamma knife facility where they have done more than 100 procedures, and they are going to be the first institution in the public sector. Inshallah, March is when they're going to inaugurate. I was told this morning that they want us to come over in March to inaugurate a center where they're going to do lung transplants. So, I'm very proud to say that the 18th Amendment gave the health sector a boost in the province of Sindh. The government of Sindh got involved. Okay, this is SIUT, is another public sector institution that has done more than 6,800 kidney transplants. 1,100 dialysis are done on a daily basis at the SIUT, and I think this would again be the highest in the world. I may be wrong, but definitely in Pakistan, but that probably be the highest number of dialysis in the world in any one place. In the private sector, Dr. Bari is sitting in front of me. We partnered with Indus Hospital, and I'm going there on Tuesday, I believe, right? Tuesday to inaugurate some blood transfusion center that they have constructed. So what we've done is, and we believe that the public-private partnership is the only way to go forward if we want to provide medical facilities to our residents of Sindh or the citizens of Pakistan, or even Pakistanis living abroad who come to Pakistan to get the treatment done. And what has led the way is our partnership with Patient Aid Foundation. I had the privilege of meeting Dr. Shah. I don't know where he is sitting, Dr. Shah and Dr. Rashid. Hi. Hello, Dr. Shah. I met them in Georgetown a few months ago. I was there. And Dr. Tariq told me that they partnered with the Cyberknife facility in Jinnah, and they have an arrangement with them. And I'm very grateful, Dr. Shah and Dr. Rashid, that you've come all the way from Washington, D.C. to Pakistan to give these seminars and to have attended this event. Thank you very much for coming over. This facility that Mushtaq Saab briefly mentioned, the Cyberknife facility that they have here, only place 10 places in the world where they have this combination of 2 cyber knives and a tomotherapy unit. They claim that this is the only facility on the planet, but why restrict yourself to the planet? We don't know about the galaxies, but this is the only facility in the galaxy which gives free treatment, for cyber knife treatment. And this treatment, if you go to any other place in the world, would cost you about anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000, depending on what your treatment is for. I remember this was a few years ago. The president of the World Bank had come over, and we had invited him over for lunch at the Chief Minister's house, and I was sitting next to him, and I was telling him about all these medical facilities, and when I said, we do this free of cost, he not only could not believe it, but coming from the capitalist mindset that he had, he said, why are you doing this? He would not, he would believe it as something, he would not accept it. But this is how we are. We try and help others, and this cyber knife facility, they have treated patients from 167 cities in Pakistan and from 15 countries. These are Pakistanis who've come to Jinnah Hospital to get treated, because obviously they can't afford this treatment abroad. In Gambat, I remember there was an American lady about a year ago who'd come for treatment to Gambat for liver transplant, because they could not afford it in their country. So, hats off to all these angels who helped us do all this. We are going to sign the agreement. It's a 25-year operational agreement, but it'll last forever, 25 years. Is because we've got this agreement with the federal government for the hospital for 25 years. So that's why we had to limit it to 25 years. But they are never going to take it back from us. We're never going to give it back to them. So this is going to be forever. And we will match, the government of Sindh will match dollar to dollar of whatever Patient Aid Foundation raises. We'll make sure that it will be a commitment. It is a commitment from the government of Sindh. Apart from this, I'd also like to make 2 other announcements. The Patient Aid Foundation had submitted 2 requests. One is to enhance the operational grant for CyberKnife and PET-CT so that its capacity can be enhanced. And we've already approved that. I'm glad to tell you that from starting next year, your grant will increase from 340 million to 540 million rupees. Dr. Tariq has been talking to me about this for a long time. They wanted a new cyber knife. The current one, the first one that they have, has completed 10 years. And obviously the technology has improved in these last 10 years. And he wanted the government of Sindh to fund it. I'm glad to tell you that the government of Sindh has agreed. And we are going to bring $4.1 million to Patient Aid Foundation to procure this new facility. Thank you very much. All this would not have been possible without the donors who sit in front of me here today. Each one of you has actually done what the government should be doing. You've helped us, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Inshallah, we will, and I know the people of this province, I know the people of Pakistan, the people of this great city of Karachi I know, times are difficult nowadays, but we will surpass these times, inshallah. And together with the donors, the government of Sindh would provide world-class health facilities to all its residents, and we will continue doing this. I would like to appreciate the health department. Dr. Azra unfortunately could not be here today. She was not feeling well. But I want to appreciate Dr. Azra and the health department for the hard work that they've been doing. And before I end, I'd once again like to thank Dr. Sean Collins and Dr. Rashid Ahmed, who've traveled from Washington, D.C. to be here today. I hope you're having a good time here in Karachi. We like to see you when, inshallah, we install this new cyber knife, and now the ball, as they say, is in your court. Try and get it as soon as possible, get a good deal from the manufacturers. We'd like to you to come again when this new machine is installed and oversee the first procedure being done by this new machine yourself. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I feel honored to be here, and inshallah, as I said, we would make sure, what I tell Dr. Tariq, what I tell Mr. Chapra Sahab is, use us. Get whatever you want done. I tell you, the Chief Secretary sitting here, I remember when he was the Finance Secretary, I was the Finance Minister, there's some organizations, some people who come in to seek finances, we don't even think about it. And we become their advocates and sell it to the government, to the cabinet. So please, whatever you want done, Sardar Yasin, I'd like to assure you, talked about the equipment for the medical complex. The government of Sindh, we did it for the surgical complex. We will provide all the equipment. Just get the building up and running as quickly as possible. We'll do it. And what I request is, please get it done now. Bring the files to us, send us a letter, we'll approve it and put the money in the bank, put it aside so that nobody can take it away from you later on. That's what we want to do. So once again, thank you very much for inviting me here. It's an honor for me, and inshallah, I'd like to be part of many more such events. We're working with the private sector, we're working with the public, we're working with the citizens of this country. We provide service to the general public at large. Just day before, I don't know if Mr. Faisal Edi is here or not. They have promised, the AD Foundation is donating 5 billion rupees to build a complex in civil hospital. And they came over and this is another example of public-private partnership. We'll work with them. We'll work with anybody, and please, and we want you to actually come and see these structures building in front of you so that you can keep a check on the government to make sure that this money is being spent properly. Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq. Thank you, Mr. Saab, for inviting me today, and I thank all the people who are here today for being here in this momentous moment, historic moment where we'll sign this 25-year agreement. Thank you very much.